The late afternoon sun bathed the park in amber light, casting long, dappled shadows across the grass. The golden glow filtered through the swaying branches of towering oaks, creating fleeting patterns on the pavement below. Somewhere nearby, children's laughter rang out, their joyful squeals blending with the occasional chirping of hidden birds. It was the kind of scene that, to any passer-by, might have seemed peaceful, ordinary even. But Maya Cross knew better than to trust peace. Seated on a weathered wooden bench near the pond, she appeared at ease, her black leather jacket folded neatly beside her. A simple gray t-shirt clung to her athletic frame, and dark jeans hugged her legs, worn from time but still sturdy. On the surface, she could have been any other woman lost in quiet contemplation. But anyone who looked closer, truly looked, would see something different. The sharpness in her eyes, the way her shoulders never fully relaxed, the faint scar tracing the length of her forearm, a reminder of the battles she had fought. A life forged in fire and combat never really leaves you. Even after all these years, the instincts remained. A part of her would always scan her surroundings, always calculate risks, always prepare for the worst. A jogger passed by, offering a polite nod. Maya returned it, her expression unreadable. Across the playground, a group of teenagers lounged near a bench, their voices loud but unremarkable. It was the kind of afternoon where nothing truly felt out of place, until it did. Her gaze flicked toward the far end of the park, toward the massive oak tree standing like a sentinel over the worn footpath. Four men stood beneath its shade. Their presence wasn't obvious at first, but there was something about them, the way they loitered, the low, muttered conversation, the sharp edge to their laughter, that made Maya's instincts prickle. One of them, a towering brute with broad shoulders and a buzzed head, smirked as he spoke, his voice just loud enough to carry. His skin was inked with a tattoo that snaked up the side of his neck, black lines curling like smoke. "Look at her," he muttered, his chin jutting in Maya's direction. "Sitting there all smug, like she owns the damn place." Beside him, a wiry man with a scraggly beard cracked his knuckles. His grin was all teeth and malice. "Bet she's all talk. Won't look so smug when we're done with her." Maya had felt their eyes on her before she even turned to confirm it. She met their stares without flinching, holding their gaze for just long enough to let them know, "I see you, and I am not afraid." Then she shifted her attention back to the water, her expression unchanged. But inside she sharpened. They were trouble. She adjusted her posture slightly, keeping one arm draped loosely over the back of the bench while the other rested close to the strap of her bag. It was a subtle movement, one that wouldn't register to an untrained observer. But to those who knew what to look for, it was a signal, preparation, readiness. Her breathing remained steady, controlled. Her pulse, however, had quickened just slightly, not with fear, but with awareness. And then they moved. The leader, Trevor Tank Thompson, stepped forward, his boots grinding against the gravel path with slow, deliberate steps. He moved with the unearned confidence of a man who had never been challenged in the ways that truly mattered. Behind him, Scraggly Beard followed, his hands flexing like he was itching for a fight. The two younger ones, barely more than boys, fueled by bravado and whatever twisted sense of power they thought this moment gave them, flanked behind, eager but uncertain, like hunting dogs waiting for their master's command. Maya remained still, watching, calculating. They had no idea what they were walking into, but they were about to find out. Tank's voice dripped with insincere politeness as he spoke, his words laced with a mocking undertone. "Well now, mighty fine day to be out here all alone, don't you think?" Maya, unfazed, slowly lifted her chin, meeting his gaze with calm defiance. "It was a nice day, until you showed up." A low, gravelly laugh escaped from Patchy Beard, his yellowed teeth flashing in amusement. You hear that, Tank? She's got a mouth on her. Guess she thinks she's better than us. One of the younger men sneered in agreement. Tank's grin wavered slightly before he composed himself, stepping closer. We just want to have a friendly chat, he said smoothly. So why don't you be polite and hand over that bag of yours? No need for this to get unpleasant. Maya's lips curled into the faintest hint of a smirk. Her voice remained even, steady. You really think I'm just going to give you what you want? Tank's smile vanished. The air around them thickened with tension as the group inched closer, their movements subtle but predatory. Maya's sharp eyes assessed them instantly, how they positioned themselves, their unbalanced stances, their lack of coordinated strategy. With controlled grace, she rose to her feet. Though her body remained relaxed, her presence exuded an unmistakable authority. You're making a mistake, she warned, her voice quiet but firm. Walk away while you still can. Patchy Beard scoffed, stepping forward with exaggerated bravado. Or what? You gonna call the cops? Like they'd even show up for someone like you. Another young man laughed cruelly. Yeah, you think you're untouchable, huh? Acting all high and mighty out here? Tank leaned in until his face was just inches from hers, his breath hot with anger. You don't scare us, lady. Maya's expression hardened. You should be. The first attack came from one of the younger men, wild, undisciplined. He swung recklessly, hoping to catch her off guard. But Maya moved effortlessly, sidestepping his strike with practiced ease. In a single fluid motion, she grabbed his arm and twisted, forcing a pained yelp from his throat before shoving him backward. He stumbled, landing hard on the ground. The group hesitated, the shift in momentum catching them off guard. What the hell? Patchy Beard spat, fists clenching. Tank's expression twisted with fury. Get her! They attacked in chaotic waves, their movements driven more by aggression than skill. Patchy Beard threw a desperate overhand punch, a sloppy haymaker meant to overwhelm her. But Maya ducked low, driving her elbow into his ribs with enough force to send him staggering. Another man, scrambling for an advantage, grabbed a broken branch and swung it like a bat. Maya pivoted smoothly, stepping inside his reach and knocking the weapon from his grip. A sharp shove sent him crashing against a tree, the impact stealing the breath from his lungs. With a roar, Tank charged. He was bigger, stronger, but Maya was sharper. She sidestepped at the last second, hooking his ankle and sending him sprawling face first into the gravel. He rose, dirt streaking his furious face. His pride was wounded now. He swung wildly, his attack sloppy with rage. Maya blocked each one with ease, reading his movements before landing a precise, crushing strike to his solar plexus. The air left his lungs in a whoosh, and he staggered back, wheezing. The fight didn't last much longer. Bruised, dazed, and beaten, the last man to rise looked at Maya, truly seeing her for the first time. His fear was evident now. Enough, Tank growled, clutching his ribs. Let's go. Patchy Beard spat onto the ground, glaring. You'll regret this, lady. You don't know who you're messing with. Maya adjusted the strap of her bag, her gaze unwavering. I know exactly who I'm messing with, and now you know who you shouldn't mess with. The men retreated, their bravado shattered. They limped away into the trees, disappearing like shadows at dusk. Only then did Maya exhale, her muscles still thrumming with adrenaline. The next morning, news of the confrontation spread like wildfire. Officer Caleb Reyes, a hardened detective with no patience for nonsense, sat across from Maya at the precinct. His sharp eyes studied her carefully. You're telling me 4 men tried to jump you, and you walked away without a scratch? Maya sipped her coffee, her expression unshaken. They started it. I finished it. Reyes shook his head, flipping through his notes. Their leader, Tank, has a long rap sheet: assault, threats, harassment. Most of his victims were too scared to press charges. Maya leaned forward slightly. Then maybe it's time someone did. Reyes narrowed his eyes. You're not telling me everything, are you? Who are you, really? Maya's lips twitched slightly, but she didn't answer directly. Let's just say I don't scare easily, and neither should anyone else. As Reyes dug deeper into Tank's history, it became clear. This wasn't just a gang of street thugs. Tank and his crew were part of something far darker, a network built on hate. They thrived on fear, terrorizing marginalized communities, pushing them out of their own neighborhoods. Maya knew she couldn't just walk away. With Reyes on her side and her years of Navy SEAL training honed to perfection, she started pulling at the loose threads of the operation. What she uncovered was bigger than she ever imagined. Secret meetings, shell companies funneling money into extremist organizations, a shadowy figure orchestrating it all from the shadows. The fight against Tank's gang had only been the beginning. Over the next few weeks, Maya and Reyes worked together, dismantling the operation piece by piece. Arrests were made, testimonies were secured, and when Tank finally stood trial, his bravado crumbled under the weight of undeniable evidence. At the verdict's reading, guilty on all charges, Maya stood at the back of the courtroom, arms crossed. Justice had been served. Outside the courthouse, Reyes approached her, a rare smirk tugging at the corners of his mouth. You did good work, Cross. Maya met his gaze, her voice steady. We all did, but this isn't over. People like Tank, they're everywhere. We just have to keep fighting. Reyes nodded, one battle at a time. As Maya walked away, the setting sun cast long shadows across the courthouse steps. The fight against hate wasn't over. But this battle had been won, and she was ready for whatever came next. If you believe in justice, in standing up for what's right, subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories. Share this video to spread the message, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.